with a star revealing he considered retirement and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. With Ian Riccaboni commentating on AEW Collision due to Tony Schiavone's dog passing away, T. Archer asked Sean Ross Sapp for this regarding Riccaboni's status. Do you know if he changed his mind on doing the show weekly, or is this just for now? Sapp replied, asking Riccaboni, if I report that you're doing this weekly, is there a chance you'll just be so polite as to not make me look stupid and start calling the show weekly? Riccaboni then said, no plans. This was a one-night affair. I think you or someone else reported it back in July, but I am and have been the Break the Glass emergency commentator. Talking about her experience being a heel in AEW, Skye Blue told Kicking Out, yeah, it's really been, I've never been a heel in my entire career until now, and I feel very comfortable. I feel it myself, and I like it because I'm also still learning. Like, I'm learning how to portray the character better, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm always learning, and I'm surrounded by, like, such great people at AEW to learn from. So I just, like, feel super comfortable being able to try things and, like, get feedback and learn and keep growing. I feel like every time you're with somebody different, whether you're with somebody new in the ring or you just work with different people who are trained differently, you learn how each person, because there are so many ways to do what we do, and it's very cool to take from every little bit that you can. As he discussed his two reigns as Impact World Champion, Josh Alexander said this on Sunday night's main event. I just never wanted to get out of the ring. I had this true passion for this, that if my knee got banged up when I was training, I might be stupid for doing this, but I didn't want to show that my knee was banged up because I didn't want them to tell me I couldn't train. So I'd be hiding all this stuff that was happening, whether it was a bruise or a swell or a sprain or all this other stuff, but I just never wanted to get out of the ring. So that's kind of the mentality I always had, and then when I trained with Johnny Devine, it was like, you don't know what hurt is. I've been wrestling with a torn ACL for a year, and I just wear this brace. And as I progressed through my career, I've wrestled with a torn knee for 2.5 years of my Impact. My whole title run, my knee was torn and I didn't get it fixed until my tricep went, and then I just called the surgeon. He was like, yeah, I'll fit you in next week and you'll be healed in 6 weeks. I had knee surgery in secret just to clean out my knee finally, you know, to get me back to 100%, but wrestling, there's no off season. There's no time to get stuff fixed, especially if you're on a run, so you just gotta keep going. I came home from tricep surgery and it was like 10 days later, my surgeon fit me in to do my knee. Knee surgery is amazing now. I had the same surgery done when I was 17 and I was out for months, and this one, I was on the stairs at the gym a week later. He was just like, the more you can move, the better. I was like, that's great for me, so yeah. Recalling her final bout in WWE against Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam in 2023, Ronda Rousey wrote this in her memoir, Our Fight. In that moment in the ring, every single thing made sense. Every motion anticipated and capitalized on, not because it was scripted, but because it wasn't. Shayna and I flowed from one spot to the next because we knew how to fight, how to make it real, how to make it make sense. For the very last time, I loved every second of it. Somewhere in the crowd, I heard the rumblings of, this is boring, but the fans weren't able to sync up from around the stadium and the chant died. I didn't even care. I expected the fans weren't going to understand. They weren't going to appreciate it. If anything, making them sit through it was my last FU to them and the company, but it was the match that we wanted it to be. It was a match that I was proud of. That's all that mattered. As he has been out of action from AEW for some time and recently debuted for AAA, Parker Boudreaux took to X and wrote that I'm with AEW and AAA. Please stop saying AAA is my only home. I clearly stated in the promo it is one of my new homes. I am still with AEW. Touching on comparisons between the Attitude Era of WWE and the current one, Triple H said this to Complex. As we roll into this, the business is probably, I can look at it different now, like where I just said a minute ago, we didn't know it was the Attitude Era at the time. Having lived through that, I can look at it right now and say we're in another era like that. People won't put a tag on it. Like, we didn't call it the Attitude Era in the Attitude Era. They'll put a tag on it later or whatever it is. But if we can maintain, we're in that same white hot level of, everything's sold out, everything we're doing is just clicking. And you see it, Travis Scott wanting to come in. You see it with Bad Bunny wrestling with us. You see it with The Rock coming back. Rock's got a busy schedule. If wrestling's on the down, he ain't coming in. So you see that. You see that excitement. WrestleMania 40 will be massive, and we're going to do everything we can to make it the biggest WrestleMania in history. Mentioning the changes that have been made to WWE programming over the years, Triple H said in that same interview, now it's a different time. And the way I do things is slightly different. My career, I learned from being here, but there were things along the way that I always thought I would do differently. In this time now, I get to make those calls, and with a large team of people. Whether people will want to believe it or not, I think we were sort of looking at this as here's where we're going to go to get this started, and it has the opportunity of going this way or that way. We always have to call audibles every single week. Everything you do is dependent on reactions. That's what we do as an industry. The beautiful thing with this group and with Cody and Roman and Rock especially, everybody's got their ear to the ground. And then we all just get together and figure the out. When it comes to a potential boxing match for him in the future, Kenny Omega said on a Twitch live stream, who knows though, maybe in a Triller card somewhere in the future, I'll be celebrity boxing someone. I don't know, we'll find out, who knows. So if I was to take a real boxing match, who would you like to see me fight? Any wrestlers you think I might be able to fight in a real boxing match? Creed, Xavier Woods. Actually, you know what, Creed, it would be a good match. I actually think that'd be a really good match. But in an actual shoot boxing match, I think it'd be a good fight. I think it really would be. That'd be actually really good. I wouldn't want to hit him though. I hate him. I don't want to hit him. I hate his guts, but I don't want to hit the guy. I don't think he wants to hit me either. I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's like that. Revealing how he felt about returning to the ring following the passing of his brother Jay, Mark Briscoe told Under the Ring, that was my very first thought. I'm never wrestling again, but it really didn't take long at all for me to reconsider and change my mind there once I got thinking about what he would want me to do. My initial reaction was I'm never wrestling again. I don't ever want to wrestle again. And then like I said, when I thought about what he would want me to do, it wasn't long at all and I was like, I can't just quit at this point. I gotta carry on for him. Noting a boost in ratings for their programming ahead of WrestleMania, WWE said this on their corporate website. WWE's flagship weekly programming, SmackDown, Raw, and NXT, continues to deliver viewership gains among the key 18 to 49 advertising demographic ahead of WWE's biggest event of the year, WrestleMania XL, in Philadelphia on Saturday, April 6th and Sunday, April 7th. Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. In Q1 2024, SmackDown is averaging 892,000 total viewers, among those 18 to 49, up 15% versus the year prior. SmackDown is ranked number 1 among those 18 to 49 audiences across all total day Friday broadcasts for 11 of the first 12 weeks of the quarter. February 16th episode of SmackDown scored 985,000 viewers among those 18 to 49, making it the most viewed broadcast program in prime time for the entire week of February 12th. Monday Night Raw on USA Network in Q1 of 2024. Raw averaged 733,000 total viewers among those 18 to 49 49, up 6% versus the year prior. Raw ranked number 1 among those 18 to 49 audiences on Monday cable for 9 of the 13 weeks of the quarter. The unexpected return of Pat McAfee to the commentator table during the January 29th episode delivered 811,000 total viewers among those 18 to 49, up 13% versus the week prior, and easily ranked number 1 on cable. NXT on USA Network. In quarter 1 of 2024, NXT was up 31% among those 18 to 49 versus the year prior. These ratings are a testament to our creative team, production crew, and all of the WWE superstars that work together week in and week out to produce these impressive results, said WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque. All 3 shows are headed to new platforms in the US over the next year. In October 2024, SmackDown will move to USA Network, and NXT will make its broadcast debut on CW. In January 2025, Raw will make its groundbreaking debut on Netflix. WrestleMania XL is available to stream in the US exclusively on Peacock. Explaining the reason for Jade Cargill's WWE presentation being changed, Ringside News wrote that the rationale behind the adjustments made to Jade Cargill's presentation before her debut on SmackDown has come to light. Initially, reports surfaced that some tweaks were made to Cargill's presentation, and now, according to Fightful Select, it has been revealed that these changes were specifically aimed at distinguishing her visuals from those of The Rock, particularly in light of the final boss also incorporating an electricity-themed entrance. Touching on not having an extended program with Ric Flair in WWE, Hulk Hogan told Sports Illustrated, "I wanted to work with Ric. There's no doubt he was one of the greatest ever. Earlier in my career, I wanted to work with Piper and Orndorff. Later on, I loved working with Chris Jericho. He was just amazing. I wrestled a match with Randy Orton, and I loved that. I always loved wrestling, and I liked the challenge of working with different guys. I loved wrestling The Rock. If you're going to create magic, there is a formula, a feel, a timing, and a placement. That's the it factor. You need to be able to see it and feel it. We never really had the chance to run wild together in WWF. That gave us a chance for it to happen in WCW. That was round 2 for us. People wanted to see it, and you've got to give the people what they want to see." After suffering a knee injury and needing surgery in December, Charlotte Flair could be seen running for a workout. As CM Punk previously appeared backstage at WWE prior to an episode of Raw, when he was still a part of AEW, he revealed how those in All Elite Wrestling reacted, telling the MMA Hour, "I think the word betrayed was used, and I was just like, alright man, as a company, you're allowing guys to go on their television show to do things. I went backstage to say hi to friends. It's 2 completely different things. If you're going to be mad about it, okay." Ringside News added that CM Punk disclosed the individual responsible for his surprise Raw appearance last year, none other than WWE superstar Bayley. Punk emphasized that he wasn't angling for a job or seeking employment opportunities within WWE, stating, "I'm the old-timer in the business." Punk also responded to accusations of making AEW President Tony Khan fear for his life during the altercation he had with Jack Perry at AEW's event in Wembley last year. "I can't tell you what Tony is thinking, but I can tell you I never did anything to make him fear for his life. There is a continued effort to slander my character." revealing the plans for him at WrestleMania 40 prior to his injury. CM Punk said in that same interview, "The plan I think was going to be me and Seth Rollins. I believe so on it main eventing night 1, but again, I came in and said, I'm not asking questions, you're the boss." Punk also revealed who called him about setting up his return to WWE at Survivor Series last year. "I get a call from Nick Khan and he was like, hey, we want to talk to you. I was like, cool. I got CFFC. Do you want to talk on Monday? Great. It was the week of Thanksgiving Monday I spoke to him." Revealing CM Punk's response to the allegations against Vince McMahon on the MMA Hour, Ringside News wrote that Punk didn't mince words when he addressed the allegations, stating, "I mean, there's no positivity there. I didn't read all the allegations. I read text messages and went, oh, F this. It's indefensible." Reflecting on his decision to discuss the matter, Punk expressed his shock at McMahon's actions, stating, "Doing this, I imagined I was going to be asked about it. I know the easiest thing to do is avoid it, but it's there. I'm kind of shocked at how dumb he was. Writing stuff down and leaving that paper trail, it's horrific." Punk emphasized the need to focus on the victim, saying, "At this point, all the energy should be used. There's victims here, so what CM Punk thinks about Vince and the CM Punk-Vince relationship doesn't mean anything here. All that stuff takes a back seat. I'm more concerned about, going forward, how do those people survive going through that trauma?" When questioned about whether the business is better off without McMahon, Punk responded, "At this point, how do you say anything but yes? The business is better without him." He drew a comparison to the tragic case of Chris Benoit, revealing, "The biggest thing I can draw a comparison to is when Chris Benoit did a murder-suicide. I was friends with Chris Benoit, and I'm famously on camera weeping because at the time, we didn't know. And the week prior, I'm traveling with him and he grabs me and runs me into the trainer's room, and his little son is in the training room taping up his hands and putting X's on his hands." While acknowledging the absence of direct personal experiences, Punk admitted, "Obviously, I don't have memories of Benoit traveling with me and murdering people in a gym. I've never been in a room with Vince where he's sexually assaulting somebody, but there's a part of me where, just like with Benoit, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see it." CM Punk also reflected on the impact of the allegations on those who had close relationships with McMahon, noting, "It's very hard to reconcile. I read what Becky Lynch said. He was like a father figure to her, and it's just been wild. It's sad." Punk expressed a sense of vindication, stating, "He ruined his life, ruining other people's lives. So there's very much a part of me that's like, we got him. Good. Shuffle him into the basement." Giving an update on the sex trafficking lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE, Ringside News wrote that in January 2024, the Wall Street Journal reported that Janelle Grant, a former WWE employee, filed a lawsuit against WWE, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis in a Connecticut federal court. The lawsuit included accusations against McMahon of sex trafficking. However, in an article published on nypost.com on April 1st, it was revealed that Grant had written what was described as a love letter to McMahon on December 24th, 2021, in which she expressed affection and devotion towards him. An excerpt from the letter was published by the Post, revealing Grant's sentiments. "After almost 3 years together, it's like my life isn't even real to me unless you're there and in it, and I'm sharing it all with you." Grant's attorney, Ann Callis, responded to the publication of the letter with condemnation, accusing McMahon of coercion and psychological manipulation. "Frankly, it's pretty disgusting that Vince's weeks-late attempt to defend his horrendous behavior he claims to this day never happened, is to try to showcase letters that Vince himself coerced her to write." His psychological torture of her continues, as is typical of abusive predators who respond to women speaking out with increased threats. McMahon's attorney, Jessica Taub Rosenberg of law firm Castlewitz Benson Torres, denied any coercion and defended McMahon's actions. "This is revisionist history. No one coerced Miss Grant to write that letter. She wrote it of her own accord. Rosenberg further pointed out that the letter's content was consistent with other communications between Grant and McMahon during their relationship. The conflicting statements and allegations highlight the complexity of the legal battle between Grant and McMahon, shedding light on the contentious nature of their past interactions. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.